Cisco HyperFlex offers Our second HyperFlex deployment option is what we refer to as a HyperFlex stretch cluster. This is a special flavor of HyperFlex designed for campus-sized areas. The idea here is that we have a single logical vCenter cluster that is split across two physically different fabric interconnect domains for each HyperFlex physical cluster. In this example, we have a pair of fabric interconnects with 3 HX nodes, and we have somewhere else in the campus another pair of fabric interconnects with 3 HX nodes. This, from a logical perspective, is still a single vCenter cluster, but now we have two physical locations allowing us for better availability. It's good to understand that each one of these physical domains have to be identical, meaning that if I add a fourth node here on this cluster, I also need to add a fourth node here on this other cluster. This will provide an active-active deployment in your solution. A third deployment option we refer to as HyperFlex Edge. This HyperFlex deployment option is designed for remote offices and remote branch locations. As you can see from the drawing, HyperFlex Edge can be deployed in 3 different ways. It can be a 2-node, a 3-node, or a 4-node deployment. It's also good to point out that HyperFlex Edge does not require fabric interconnects. You can connect your HX Edge nodes to any switch fabric that you have in your environment. This simplifies how you can deploy in remote locations. On top of that, you can leverage Cisco Intersight, which is a software as a service cloud managed solution. With Intersight, we're able to deploy and do day 2 operations to any of the many HX Edge locations that you can deploy. From Intersight, we can deploy, we can do management, we can look at logs, we can change configuration, and even more, we can actually work with the Technical Assistance Center in Cisco when you have a problem, as it collects logs and information from your sites, making it much easier when there is a problem in your environment. It's also good to point out that with Intersight, not only you can help your IT department by managing this from a single location, but it can also manage the HyperFlex deployment options we cover.
Okay, hi everybody. I'm making this video here to cover how to upgrade the software on a Cisco AirOS wireless LAN controller, and then how to do a image pre-download to the access points. What this enables you to do is do all of the time-consuming activities like downloading firmware and stuff to devices. You can do it ahead of time during business hours as the activities are not service disrupting, they're not service affecting. So when it comes time to actually do your change, your cutover window, all you have to do is basically reboot everything and you're all done. So what we're going to do is we'll start here on this controller here. This is my lab controller, and we will do the first thing, which is push new firmware to this controller. So we want to go download a file. It's code, it's FTP, that's my IP address, and we're going to upgrade the code to 171 and hit download. Okay, I can see that it's downloading from my FTP server, so I'm going to pause the video and I will pick it up on the other side after the controller has downloaded it and everything else. Okay, we're back, and it looks like the controller's downloaded the new code, and it is in the backup database of the controller. So now what we want to do is pre-download this new code image to the access points. Again, this is all activity that can be done during the business hours. It's not service affecting, and it saves you a lot of time during your cutover window. So what we do is, again, we come in here and we look at the access points, and we'll notice that here we go, that it's got 85151 in the primary bank, and in the backup bank it's got 85140. And we downloaded 85171. So what we want to do, you can see where it lives, config boot. So 85171 is now in the primary bank of the controller, right? So on the next reboot, it'll come up, the controller will come up on 85171. So because it's in the primary bank of the controller, what we want to do is come to the access points and pre-download from the primary bank of the controller. And that will push the image to be the primary image on the access points. So we just go download primary. Yes, we want to pre-download a primary image for all the APs associated. Click OK. And the access points are now downloading code. The way you can verify this is you go into the access point, and you can see the status is pre-downloading. Now, if you actually can lay eyes on and visually see the access points, you'll see that they're blinking blue because they're pre-downloading code. Again, they're fully functional. They're serving clients. They're roaming. Everything's fine. This is not service affecting. But I'm going to let these access points download or pre-download their image. This will take a few minutes, and I'll pause the video, and I will come back after they are done. Okay, I'm back. It looks like the access points have pre-downloaded their image. The way we can verify that is we go ask them, and we can see here that the 171 image, the new software, has gotten itself put into the backup database of this access point and every other access point. Right? If we go look at this guy, same thing. So now we're ready to do our cutover, and our cutover is going to consist of simply rebooting equipment. So the way to go about this is step one is we need to tell the access points to flip-flop these images so that the new code gets put in the primary bank, and then we'll do the same thing on the controller, and then we'll reboot. So the way we do that is because we want to put the 85171 code in the primary bank, what we will do is we'll tell the access points to flip-flop their images. And you do this right here with interchange image button. Click that, click OK. And then again, we can verify it. Go look in here. And we see the 85171 is now in the primary data bank for the access points. What this means is that the next time the access point reboots, it will come up and say, it will come up and be on the new firmware code, right? So now we need to do the same thing for the controller itself. And we do that through, you go to command and then you go to config boot and we say, okay, what is the image we want to boot up on? Right here, it shows us that we are going to boot up next time on our primary image, which is the new code. So that's good. So all we have to do at this point, I'm going to save the config. And then we're going to go reboot the controller. Oh, it's doing something. I got to wait. Okay, all configurations saved. Let's go back to commands, reboot. And I'm going to reboot the controller and I will check back here. I'm going to pause the video again and time it. In fact, let me get my timer going now. And we are going to time it from what was it? Stopwatch. And we are going to time it from the time I hit reboot until all the access points are online with their new code. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start the clock, hit reboot, click OK. And I'm going to pause the video, and I will pick back up when the controller and access points are back online with their new code. Okay, we're back. So the 3702 just finally stopped blinking. It's these both of these have been online for about 2 minutes, but they were booting up and stuff. But as you can see, right, the total outage from the end user standpoint's 8 minutes. Right, and that's really good compared to if you have a bunch of APs or you've got access points that are traversing a slow WAN link or something like that. This is just the best way to do it, in my opinion. So what we do, let's go.